introduction. And it's told, we are working on the cancer, which is a worldwide disease, and still lots of cases are being reported, and many people die, and they die because of a global unmet challenge, which is called hypoxia. The medical community calls this hypoxia, or oxygen deprivation in the tumors, that creates lots of resistances and progression of metastases. Conventional therapies don't work, and that's where there is unmet need and the market both. And that's our technology will be addressing. So you can see that on an annual basis, about 19.3 million new cancer patients were detected. Of them, over 50% died. And if you look at this number here, hypoxia. So hypoxia is basically a physiological condition, which means low oxygen in the tumors, and what it does, it triggers a lots of genetic and physiological changes in the person, so that other processes are triggered and metastasis processes. So it's found in all types of cancers, and over 40% of patients are diagnosed with this kind of problem. So no conventional therapies, and as of today, no hypoxia-directed therapy is yet available. That's where our uniqueness is, and our hypoxia technology is going to work on that. And our data will prove that. So we have this hypoxia-1, we call this molecule, and I'm talking about this first because this is the first molecule that we are going to work on the clinical trial. It's a next generation precision medicine for hypoxic tumors, and you can see that it's actually a true theranostic, means it will take care of therapy and diagnosis both, so it's same drug, and it's based on our past track record. We have actually invented a molecule called PHASA for hypoxia imaging. This is an industry standard project, and lots of clinical trials globally are being done using this molecule. However, this molecule is in public domain. But this one is covered through IP, and what we are seeing here is the same molecule, so it's a true theranostic molecule. It has precise tumor targeting, because when you use same molecule for diagnosis and therapy, the target is not missed. Uniquely, we can make this molecule labeled with PET isotope or SPECT isotope. It can be used as both modality. It can target many types of cancers, because we have done clinical diagnostic studies and trials, and the product deposits in the tumor in good doses. So it's hypoxia selective. So basically, healthy cells don't take it. The compound is not activated there. That's why it's safe and hypoxia selective. So we have 3 frontline products. One is hypoxia-1 that I was talking about, and is ready for clinical trial. Health Canada has approved our trial now. The other molecule, hypoxia-M, is basically lab reagent, and it competes with a very popular commercial product in terms that molecule, which is in the market, uses antibodies and longer time to detect the cellular hypoxia, while our compound is cheaper and time efficient. You can do in about half an hour, and we have published a couple of papers in redox biology recently on this. Hypoxia-P is a precursor uniquely for both molecules, hypoxia-1 and hypoxia-M, and we have pipeline products that actually have multimodal theranostic potential. What I mean from multimodal, that you can use it for different modes of imaging, as well as it has a radiosensitization therapy potential, plus molecular radiotherapy. So you can use in any direction depending on what we attach as radiometal there. WIKY owns all the IPs on its products. We have a couple of international patents, US, and each international patent is also protected in 5 regions shown here. We are also working on the nanotheranostics. So I'll talk more about this product because it's ready for the clinical trial. We have approval. So from the product page, all the identity and integrity is established. We have, through preclinical studies, we have proven many things that I've talked about. It can do hypoxia selective imaging in many kinds of tumors. You can see prostate, head and neck, mammary, breast cancer tumor, all those things. We have also determined that radiation dose deposited by this molecule inside the tumor are effective for molecular radiotherapy treatment. And like I said, it is versatile. It can be used as PET or SPECT imaging agent, depending on the isotope that you use. We have also done clinical studies using this molecule, and hypoxia-ability is confirmed. Many cases, you can see different kinds of tumors. So the point that I'm saying that is valid for many types of tumors is shown here. It has been safe in healthy volunteers. We have done a clinical whole body radiation dose estimates also. And because hypoxia is found in many other critical diseases, like in diabetes, inflammatory arthritis, cardiac-induced hypoxia, stroke, even COVID, this product has a lot more potential in managing these diseases as well. And we have done some proof of clinical and preclinical studies using this molecule in that direction as well. This is our clinical trial plan. In step 1, what we'll do, we'll give imaging dose of hypoxia 1 and identify the patients who have hypoxic tumors and where it's localized or do have more metastases. And the dose deposited here will analyze those data to find out precisely how much therapeutic dose will be needed to kill these tumors. And then using that dose, we will treat the patients. That's how it will be precise, safe, and effective killing of tumor from radiations within the tumor. So it has many benefits. It's like I said, one drug theranostic management. You don't have to worry about many drugs for diagnosis and the different drugs for treatment. You can diagnose which patients will benefit. Otherwise, they can be put in other therapeutic controls. You can precisely find out what doses are needed, and that way this will have fewer side effects. Here is the market projection, and what I'm saying here is cancer is found globally, many patients, but I'm doing, if we grab over even 0.5% of the patients here, in one country, which is the USA here, and only one cancer type, which is oral cavity and pharyngeal cancer here, what kind of market we can get. And if you see here, so the costs are calculated on the basis of big pharma, they charge to supply the related radiopharmaceuticals, although none for hypoxic therapy, just for tumor therapy. So these are the costs that big pharma charge, and based on that, I have created market projection. And so in one cancer type, in one country, on 5% population, this is the kind of revenue you can generate when the marketable product is there in billions, only for imaging. And when it comes to therapy, it's several $1 billion per year with just one kind. So I would let you think and imagine if it goes globally and even if you get meager 0.5% population, what kind of market it can generate. This is our team. I look younger because it's old. But there's Dr. Michael Weinfeld, who's a radiation biologist, and he was also involved with the invention of hypoxia M. He has done lots of biological studies on that. Dr. John Yao is sitting here. He's our CFO and has lots of business experience. We have a clinical team in place. Dr. Michael Sayer is leading. Dr. Naresh has radiation oncologist at the Cross Cancer Institute. And Len Weeb and Ravi Naran, they are our scientific collaborators. And also, Len Weeb is also co-founding members. We have business expertise in terms of Dr. Sharon Barber, who has worked at J&J and also for some time in WWiKY. According to us, this is our current evaluation because we have spent about this much money in achieving the milestone that I described earlier. We also have 3 IPs and 10 regional IP, and we also have expertise that can be used. So we need immediately $5 million to start this fund, which has already been approved by the Health Canada, and it's to meet the cost of phase 1 to clinical trial, different things in there. And we will also be developing pipeline, and we will also be recruiting some team, basically on the business side, who can advise us to take the business forward. As this trial is going on, data are being collected, we will be planning for next future trials, and phase 2 trial will be larger and multi-center, so we'll be needing larger amount of money for do that, and then phase 3 trial as well. I wanted to talk about this slide because this was in news yesterday, and President Biden said that he has an outline plan to cut cancer deaths by half over the next 25 years. I would say is achievable probably if we start addressing this condition, because we've been dealing with cancer for a long time, 50 years longer. But hypoxia is one of the main culprits. If it's not addressed, this plan will probably not work. So, thank you for listening to me, and any questions, I will be ready to answer.
Thank you. Wonderful presentation. Let's open it up to questions. I have one or two myself, but first, anyone around the table? Maybe I'll start then. So if I heard correctly, you invested about $6 million to date?
To date, yes, we have spent about $6 million in collecting all those milestones that I talked about.
That's impressive. Can you talk a little bit about where that funding came from? Was it largely grant?
We had funding from Alberta Innovates. We had funding from CIHR. So it's all funding, but all those data were collected. We got those funding 2012, 13, and our company was incorporated in 2016. So we are working on these things since then, and collecting the data and taking it forward.
Now you're opening up to your first round of equity financing?
We have been presenting the case. We haven't opened, but we are open.
Okay.
We are open to open.
Okay, thank you.
Very impressive. So my understanding is the current funders don't have any equity, so that's impressive in terms of the
So
opportunity.
we have put in our own money, about $100,000, over $100,000, I can say, in getting the IPs and legal costs. But for clinical trial, we don't have any money, and we need support there for sure.
And is the IP held by you or the university?
By WWiKY now. All IPs are held by WWiKY now.
But that's a licensing deal with the university?
We don't have, I don't think John can answer that question. We
There's
don't.
a textbook already.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, yes.
Yeah, just curious, and I'm sorry if I missed it, but just wanted to understand other players in this space looking at hypoxia as a treatment.
Yeah, so
Where they-
actually I will show you on that slide. It's not exactly same product because, like I said, there is no medicine yet to treat hypoxic tumors, but there are radiopharmaceuticals that are trying to treat different kinds of tumors. There is one drug, Lutathera, which is a lutetium-based drug from Novartis, and is used to treat gastroenteropancreatic neuroendocrine tumors. It's a deadly tumor. They had sales about $500 million in 2020. Per dose cost that they charge is $47,500 to treat, and you use about 4 doses to treat it. Okay, mind you, this is not a hypoxic tumor. It's one kind, and the technology that we're talking about can treat many types because hypoxia is found in many types. Second drug is Xofigo, which is used by Bayer for prostate cancer only. It's a radionuclide-based radiopharmaceutical. They had a $250 million sales in 2020, and their cost is about over $26,000 US. They are all in US dollars, and they need up to 6 doses per patient to treat it. So it's one type of cancer that they are trying to treat, does not target all types of solid tumors, and these are the comparative market data and by other companies that are trying to treat some sort of tumors.
Right, so there's no commercial solution or commercial offering for this right now, but would be other research labs presumably around the world that are also.
So there are lots of trials going on with FASA, the molecule that we invented, I can tell you, in Denmark, even in Canada, in US. But they all are based on diagnosing the hypoxia in those tumors and then trying to figure out how to manage that. But for treatment purposes, there is no drug yet. We are trying to be in the space, and it depends. I mean, as soon as we get into the trial, I think we'll have very valuable data because our fundamentals are same. The drug is targeting many types of tumors and is selectively accumulated in hypoxic areas of the tumor. And the very interesting thing, because it's radioactive, there is an effect called crossfire effect. So radioactivity is inside the tumor in hypoxic regions, but tumor is having some non-hypoxic regions also. But this radioactivity travels a few millimeters, 2 to 4 millimeters, so it can kill the neighboring tumor cells as well, which is the crossfire effect. So that's another benefit that we are thinking in this technology, but I'm not talking about it yet because that's not the first thing that we're doing. Yes.
Is you've basically described your product as an orphan. Does it? We maybe didn't have enough time. Does it have? Would you be expecting it to have the specialty orphan status in the U.S.?
Well, that's our next target. We are going to target U.S. market anyway because is certainly much bigger and more exposed to the world, data validation and all those things will be there. Yes, orphan states will be there. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
I think so.
Okay.
In terms of your trial, is it one or two? I'm assuming by now you probably know.
So Health Canada has approved it as phase 1/2, means what we are going to do in this trial is we are going to identify the patients, do the dosimetry, and determine their safety. So that's phase 1. And 2 means we will be, after determining the safety, we'll be calculating precise dose and then treating those patients also in this trial. So it becomes 2 therapy trials. So we'll be determining safety as well as data optimization, dose escalated toxicity if we see anything, and what is the therapeutic benefit there. That's where 2 is coming.
So after you get your safety and efficacy, are you then looking at a larger sample size? Like is the 30 all in one site, or are you looking at other sites?
So that's the plan, because as we start getting the data, analysis we'll be doing the analysis around the same time, and we're planning for a larger phase 2 trial, multi-center, so that we can have better validation of our data and more confirmation, scientific. So I mean, it's not only a well thought trial to medically benefit the patients also, but because it's a unique technology, we feel that there is huge commercial potential. There is really, we haven't seen any competition yet. It's an untouched area. There is big market, but not tapped yet.
Fantastic. We might have time for one more question.
So just to make sure, because I might have missed this, the drugs that you have, you developed them or someone else developed it?
Yeah, it's like us.
It's you developed it,
Yes.
and then you developed
Not through WWiKY, but when we were academic researchers, so we developed this thing, and it's part, IP is owned by WWiKY.
and it's owned by
It's owned by WWiKY, yes.
Okay. Just
We
making
all work, I mean, most of the people work in the university, right? So that's how we work.
sure. So you haven't done animal trials yet.
So we done a couple of things. I showed you actually here that we did a couple of clinical trials, and here, if you see, so the preclinical milestones are, we did many tumor models here, prostate cancer, head and neck, and EMT6, and we figured out that it's hypoxia selective, and it can diagnose many kinds of tumors. Okay, these are 3 different kinds, and we had done more. Okay, we also did. So to kill a tumor by radioactive doses, you need to determine how much dose is being collected in the tumor. And we did determine that the dose that is collected there is going to kill the tumors, because there are some radiopharmaceuticals, antibody-based, that are having that much radioactivity and they are killing the tumors.
So I'm just saying, just want to know what you want, because your ask is a bit light at 5 million to finish.
For human trial, yes.
Yeah.
This is human trial.
So that's probably a segue into an offline conversation to get a little bigger. But I think if anybody has any connections to their organizations or their network that could assist, please do reach out. I'm looking forward to chatting with you directly about Kumar. We have something that might be of assistance as well.
Very well, thank you very much.
And thank you all for the questions. Sorry to cut it short.
Yeah, and yeah, you can reach me after the discussion as well. Thank you.
Thank you.